All right, take two. Freaking YouTube. I wish they'd get that fixed. It's ridiculous. Ridiculous. That's a joke, by the way, just so you know. I'm saying it wrong on purpose. So, anyway, well, so three thumbs up and nobody watching. That's interesting. Oh, here we go. We got people watching. I was like, that's wild. Anyway, so yeah, very freaking YouTube. Mr. Rose first. Oh my goodness. Yeah, YouTube likes to play games. Well, I'll tell you what. Since the 10th, which is just obviously yesterday, man, my views have just like unreal. So obviously they're back to playing their games more so than they were. Again, they took a break for playing their games for a while, and now they're back to playing their games. So it's like one of the things I would definitely say to you guys is make sure you're still subscribed to the channel. Make sure your bell notifications are on. You know, they're definitely not putting my videos out there. So I noticed that ever since the 10th, when they did their change of policy. Now they got this new way that you got to upload videos, which is a complete pain in the behind. Yeah, so yeah, they're already on holidays. Yeah, no kidding. But so there's just a lot of games, but that's going to be a continuous thing that we got to deal with, and you know, what are we going to do? So, but anyway, I just restarted again, and hopefully this time we get it to go all the way through and don't have any issues. But we will see what happens. So anyway, so let's talk about. I'm not going to go through the whole other part of it again because we already did that in the first video. So we're just going to get right into the topic this time. Okay. So we're going to talk about what do we need to be worried about in 2020. Now, I would definitely say, guys, one of the things that I don't know if you guys are into the whole numerology thing, but there was a thing, and they were showing the cycles of stuff. And this person basically had said in 2020 we should be in another major world war. So I'm hoping that they're absolutely wrong with that, because that would not be a good thing at all. Not a good thing at all. I would be concerned about that. That'd be a major thing I'd be concerned about. The Ace of Spades says I'm worried about everything. Well, there's a lot. There is a lot to be concerned about, you know. And here's the thing, and let me reiterate this before we get started, okay? There's things to be concerned about. There's things that we need to be worried about. There is absolutely no doubt about that, okay? But we cannot let these things consume us and control our lives. I want to make sure we put that out there too. You still have to live your life. You still should try to enjoy life as much as you possibly can, because I think that's important too. I think it's really, really important to appreciate the things that we have, to sit back and smell those roses and that type of thing. I think that's really, really important, and I think we need to do that. Yeah, it could go any which way. You're right, Ronnie. You know what? We have no idea. All we can do, realistically, is try to control our own little piece of the pie, our own little piece of the environment that we can. There's many, many things that could be coming up here this next year. You know, depending on how the election goes, what kind of nonsense gets all played with that whole thing, what kind of manipulation and those type of things. I mean, it's you know, Ed, do you have to say folk every video? I don't know why that. Hey, Mountain Girl, I've seen many reports regarding food shortages as well as seed bank shortage. That's why we prepare. You are absolutely right, and thank you very much for that donation, Mountain Girl. I appreciate that, and you're right on the money. Food shortage would be one of the huge things that I would absolutely be concerned about with the upcoming year. My advice to anybody, if you can do it, if you in any way, shape, or form, and I don't care if it's on a small scale, get some kind of greenhouse in place. You know, it doesn't have to be a big fancy elaborate greenhouse. Just get something in place. Make sure you have your seeds. Get growing as soon as you possibly can, and get as much stuff going as you possibly can. I think we're in for some very, very hard times, and I think it's going to be real important that we really focus on getting things squared away, getting our own food production going as much as we possibly can. That's going to be our savings grace in the long run, honestly. Food is key. And I've talked about that over and over and over again, how important food is. And I've been preaching that for almost a year now. And, with after the year that we had here in the United States and all around the rest of the world with what's going on food production wise, I think it's something that we really need to be focusing on and taking care of ourselves as much as we possibly can. So, once I get my greenhouse finished, I have a lot of plans. I actually, because of the growing room that I'm going to have, I'm going to obviously do aquaponics in there as well, as you guys know. I am also planning on putting in some beds to do like potatoes and stuff like that. If I can grow potatoes and keep them going a lot, I'm going to do that. You can get a lot of production out of potatoes, and it can give you a lot of food. And so if I can have them, like I said, in that nice controlled environment and have them grow big and strong and give me a ton of potatoes, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to have a certain area for my root vegetables in that greenhouse. Again, I'm also going to have, a lot of other things that I plan on doing too. I'm going to tell you what, getting that greenhouse now and getting that going and getting that set up. And what the game plan is, the couple that's been helping me put the greenhouse together, they're planning on coming back on Friday. We're looking at, like, tomorrow's high is 37, and then they're saying that on Friday, perennials like asparagus too. Yeah, that's a good one too, Kevin H. You're right. Asparagus is a really good one. It's really, really good for you. But they're coming back on Friday. It's supposed to be like 47 on Friday. So we're going to try and get the rest of the greenhouse together. As far as there's only a couple more boards that we actually got to put together, and then we got to get the door in, obviously, which I still have not received yet, but that's another whole story. We'll get into that at another time. But I want to try to get the plastic up, at least one layer of the plastic up on the outside, and get that part going. And if we can get that part going and kind of get it sealed in that way, that's going to be awesome. And hopefully I can start early in the season getting things going. Now, I'm obviously going to get that second layer in on the greenhouse as well before I ever do anything inside. So, but getting the outside layer on is going to be the one we want to do while the weather's still halfway decent. So if it is in the low 40s on Friday, I think they said 47, I believe. So if that's the case, that's going to be perfect. Hopefully we can get that done and get that up, and then we just go from there. So, but if the door don't come, put a buffalo hide cover opening to hide. Yeah, well, I'll definitely put something. I'll definitely put something over it for the meantime. Until we get that door in there. But yeah, there's, I'm really, really excited about that. That is going to be a game changer when the time comes. When the time comes, and we are in a true SHTF situation. Having that greenhouse, and even if I didn't do aquaponics at that point and strictly just used it for growing, that would be huge, and it's going to save a ton of lives. And I think that's important. Like I said, again, I think that's so important to do. So I would encourage all of you to get gardens in, get greenhouses in. If you can start growing earlier and then continue to be able to grow later in the season, that's going to be really, really important. Try to do things now ahead of time. I think 2020 is going to be a very, very interesting year, and not always in a good way. But I think that it can be in a good way if we are productive and take care of ourselves and be smart about things and work at things methodically. That's going to be really, really important. And so that's what I would encourage everybody to do. To be honest with you, I'm going to absolutely encourage all of you to do that, because it's going to be interesting to see what happens, especially once we get closer to the election and what's going on with that. And like I said, I honestly, at this point right now, I don't see a viable candidate that could beat President Trump. I don't, from the Democratic Party. They got nobody, as far as I can see at this point. So, Because if their candidate is Biden, they're all done. There's no way. So, there's enough issues with him that people have a lot of questions. And don't get me wrong, politicians, you guys know how I feel about politicians in general, so we don't even need to get into that. Guys, if you haven't shot me a thumbs up yet, if you would do that, I would appreciate it. I see we got like 310 in the chat, and we're at 81 thumbs up. So if you could do that, that would be great. Again, so major concern for next year, and as far as I'm concerned, is food. That is a huge, huge one. So again, I think it's really important that we try to really focus on getting as much things squared away as we possibly can. Keep hearing that Hillary may run. You know what? If she did, I don't think she couldn't win. I don't think she would win. She cheated to get the nomination last time. Actually, realistically, it should have been Bernie Sanders with the nomination, realistically, but they stole it from him. I honestly believe if it had been Bernie Sanders instead of Hillary Clinton, I think Bernie Sanders would have won. And he's, he's a socialist. So, and we all know, but again, they stole that nomination. They wanted her for whatever reason. It didn't happen. So thank goodness, because I was really concerned for our country if she had won, to be honest with you. But, and again, so what do? You pick the lesser of two evils, realistically. So, but I'm going to tell you what, it amazes me. And I saw a statement today, which I thought was freaking hilarious. And it said, the Democrats keep saying they're talking about plans of how they're going to help this booming economy. Apparently, you had 266,000 jobs. And those things, all those numbers can be manipulated too, guys. The unemployment numbers can be manipulated. All of it can be. Okay. So what you're seeing that they're giving us is not always the facts. So I think there's a lot of issues in this country. One of my main concerns as far as going into next year is the divide that we have, that we are not working together, for the common good of this country. As a country, you have too much division and hatred, which is sad, and it's pathetic, to be honest with you. It's really, really sad. And here's the thing, and I've talked about this before a little bit, and I want to kind of bring it up. We're all going through stuff. We are all going through stuff. People our age are not even counted on the unemployment stats side. Oh, wow, I did not know that. That's interesting. Yeah, well, that'd be a good amount of people that can't get jobs or can't get good paying jobs. That's the other thing is too. Yeah, the impeachment is a waste of time. You're right. I agree with you 100%. It's a game. It's a dog and pony show. They may impeach him in the House, but he's never getting impeached in the Senate. We already know that. So, and just the way that they've run things, it just shows their hand. It's been absolutely ridiculous the whole way. And so, but